Racing, Scuderia Ferrari Edition, the heart of the race.
A good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round number 10 of the Formula SimRacing Pro Championship here from the Autodromo Nazionale Monza, the Italian Grand Prix. It's time for 43 laps of racing around this beautiful Temple of Speed. My name is Felix van Delft and I will be joined in just a second by Alistair Long alongside me. Let's have a look at what this racetrack has to offer us. 43 laps of racing here, 5.7 kilometers long. Obviously a long straight here. 2 DRS zones, one just before Ascari and one on the start-finish straight, obviously. So it will be good to see what the drivers will be able to do there overtaking-wise. We've seen a lot of action in the Academy Championship just a bit earlier today. If you've missed that, you can always watch it back on our YouTube channel, obviously. Now, the cars in 2019 haven't changed since the start of the season. 933 brake horsepower, top speed of up to 370 kilometers per hour. I think we will see some cars getting close to that top speed here with the DRS and the slipstream. So it will be good to see who is going to get the trophy and getting the highest top speed today. Weight will be 740 kilos, and the drivers have the ability to use 2 fuel mixtures, the lean and the rich mixture, and also 2 boost modes, the race mode and the qualifying mode, which will be interesting to see. We've seen as well in the Academy Championship that there were some drivers that had too much boost used, and because of that lost out and actually blew their engine. So the drivers have to be very careful of that. Then I would say let's jump straight into the qualifying session, which has been going for 10 minutes already, and have a look at what the drivers have been able to do so far. Now, Thomas Sedderly actually leading the standings at the moment with a 1 minute 19.167. Pretty quick lap time. Let's see if any other driver will be able to get into the 1 minute 18s. It's already pretty close to that. Just under 2 tenths to be gained to get under that 1 minute 19 mark. Obviously, championship leader at the moment, Mark Hutchinson. Pretty comfortable lead for him. 33 points to Tom Sedderly. If Sedderly can keep this pace up in qualifying, he might be able to gain some points. Mark only down in 4th at the moment, so struggling so far at the Temple of Speed, but still 10 minutes to go in qualifying, so still a lot to be gained. Now let's see who is on a hot lap. Viktor Ivanov just got through the first sector. Pretty decent, not an improvement though for his personal sector time. Now coming down to Ascari. The DRS open. The pink walled tires, or purple walled ultra soft tires. Coming through Ascari very, very aggressively over the curbs. Second sector is also decent, but again not an improvement for him. So we all have to come from this Parabolica, the long right-hander. Understeer is very prominent. Victor trying to take the fastest line to the finish and does improve his lap time. Does not improve his lap time actually, so he will have to try again. Thomas Sedderly just coming out of the pit lane now to start his next qualifying lap. Matthäus Koolman currently in 2nd, just starting his lap, so let's go on board with him. Coming into the first chicane. Good exit. Obviously the traction at the rear is very important to get the best top speed down these long straights. Coming into the Segunda Variante. A bit of understeer on the first part there, and then bumps too much over the curbs on the inside. Loses the car, and that's his qualifying attempt over. Kean White also on his lap. Just got through the first chicane. Let's see what he's able to do, currently in P5. Looking good so far. See his first sector time. I think he might be on an outlap then. He's on a very aggressive outlap because I don't see his sector times. That's interesting. Yeah, he's on an outlap then, so aggressive outlap for Kean White there. Guess he's in a hurry. Still 7 minutes to go in qualifying, so I don't know exactly as to why. But let's see what he does in his actual hot lap then. Coming through Parabolica, trying to get the best exit as possible. Of course, you want the most speed coming into turn 1. Roughly 300 and 50 kilometers an hour on top speed, braking hard, turning it into the first chicane. Trying to get the good exit. Up the gears again, 7th. Up to 8th. And then under the bridge, braking hard, roughly at 75 meters, turning it in. Bit of understeer, but seems to control it pretty well. Then the Lesmos, of course, hard, right-hander. Kind of blind, so it's difficult to get the apex right. And the second one, try to get the apex on the inside a little bit, not too much, because your car will bounce a bit. DRS coming up to Ascari under the old section of the Monza, the classic Monza. Ascari, of course, very fast corner. Curbs are deadly sometimes, but he managed to get over them pretty safely. Personal improvement in Sector 2. Sector 1 wasn't too shabby either. Let's see what he's able to do. Coming out of Parabolica, running to the line. If you go too wide, you will end up in the grass, and obviously that won't help your lap time. Let's see. Dean White at 119.4 goes up to P5. And Tom Oldenmenger is on a very fast lap. At least a very fast first sector. Let's see if his last sector is also good enough to move him up a few positions. No, stays down in P9, so that first sector wasn't enough to make up for the rest of the lap. Look at Amelio, currently in P3. One of the quicker drivers in practice. And improves his lap time. 19.2, not enough to put himself in the... Well, not enough to really challenge Coleman and Sadali at the moment. His teammates, obviously. Kostas Kalinamatis starting his lap right now. Currently in P7 for HME Orimila Sim Sport. A beautiful livery. Braking hard again. Decent first sector, 27.170. Might be able to move himself up a place or two if he continues this pace through the rest of the lap. DRS flicks open as he comes down to Ascari. Hard on the power. A little bit of smoke coming off the tires at the AstroTurf there. Second sector, 26.8. That's not a great second sector. Perhaps running a bit lower wings. So this last sector might be able to gain him back some time. Coming to the finish line. What's it going to be? 119.81. Not enough really to challenge the guys in front of him. And I think that was his final attempt. No, actually still has got one attempt left. As do almost all the drivers. Mateusz Koolman there coming across the start-finish to start his final attempt. He only needs about 0.03 of a second to be able to get that pole position from Thomas Sadali. Just trying to find a little bit of time somewhere along the track. Braking hard again for the second chicane. Pretty clean. TCS off driver there, getting out of the way nicely. Turning it in for Lesmo 1. A lot of understeer there for Coleman, and he even decides to cancel his lap because of it. So I think that is his qualifying session over. And he will have to start from at least second on the grid and hope that the drivers behind him won't improve any further. Ian White again on an out lap. He will be trying to challenge for that pole position, of course. Mark Hutchinson coming outside of the pit lane as well now. As we see the Invictus driver coming. Christian Lazaro coming through turn 1.
Good afternoon.
Again on the line. Hello there. So please, all viewers, also welcome Alistair Long here, joining me in the commentary booth. How are you, Alistair?
I'm good, thank you. I'm just on board with Mark Hutchinson. He's behind Luke Maguire on his outlap.
Let's have a quick look. Hutchinson, of course, championship leader. Still a bit down on time, 2/10 to Thomas Satterley. Ghost speed's looking really quick here today. Almost a 10th quicker than any other ISIMRS driver. So the pressure is on Mark for sure. He's got a bit of a gap.
Just wondering if he got any toes on his lap, Tom Satterley.
I'm not sure.
I know there was a bit of a disagreement over who was going to be getting toes and who wasn't.
He's starting his lap now, so no toe at least for the first part of his lap. Let's see what he's able to do. They have a lot of top speed though, ghost speed. The top speed there of Satterley was 357 kilometers an hour. Mark Hutchinson has about 350, so about 7 kilometers an hour quicker just on the straights. Obviously will be losing out in the rest of the lap. But I think it's working out pretty well for them with the higher top speed. First sector for Satterley, 27.0. Not the best, but still a very good first sector. Second sector is going to be important. A bit of understeer there in the second Lesmo. With the wheel on the grass there even. Let's see what the second sector time is going to be. 26.7. Not a very good second sector either. This is all going to be about the last sector if he wants to defend his pole position.
26.4 from Hutchinson.
Yeah,
behind
Hutchinson
him.
is on a good lap, so this might be the case that Hutchinson will snatch it in the last possible minute. Very, very quick second sector there. Purple for him. Now the last sector is going to be everything for him. Obviously a bit less top speed. Let's see what it's going to be. It's going to be P3, 119.2. Lost out too much in that last sector compared to the other two drivers in front of him. But manages to get in front of Luca D'Amelio at least. To split at least some of the ghost speeds. Rumer Tissing ending his qualifying in the wall there. And Phil Kraus doing exactly the same, ending his qualifying in the wall. So, Tom Satterley will be starting from pole position here at the Autodroma Monza. Mateusz Koolman right next to him with Mark Hutchinson, the championship leader behind that, and Luca D'Amelio next to him on the second row. As we switch into the warm-up, we will go for a short break. Stay with us. Maybe grab yourself a cup of coffee, something to eat perhaps. And we will be back in roughly 5 minutes time. And when we get back, we will start racing here for 43 laps around this beautiful Temple of Speed. Stay with us and we will be right back.
Hey man, I got that new TMX Thrustmaster wheel. It's going down.
Xbox One?
I can't wait to play when I get home.
Yo, let me play.
Yeah, I play first. Yeah.
You know, I'll race it for it.
Well, I have a hand.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to round 10 of the Formula SimRacing World Championship here from the Autodromo Nazionale Monza, the Italian Grand Prix. Will be kicking off very, very shortly as we are in the late stages of the warm-up. For those who have missed the qualifying, we will go through the grid before the start with you, so don't worry about that. My name is Felix van Delft, and joined in the commentary booth is Alistair Long. Welcome once again.
Hello.
So qualifying was quite interesting. We saw the ghost speeds have quite a lot of top speed. What do you think that's going to be doing in the race? Obviously, we've seen in Academy that the top speed difference that the NetRexes had compared to the ICMRS drivers was a pretty big difficulty for them. Mark Hutchinson will be right in between the ghost speeds. Do you think he'll be able to cope with that, or if he's really gonna start dropping back on the straights?
Well, we'll see. I think in the first few laps we'll probably see Mark Hutchinson past. He's pretty good at keeping himself out of trouble, but we shall see what happens in the first few laps. If he can keep himself in a DRS train for the majority of the race, then perhaps that might come to him. But I think probably we'll see Luca D'Amelio getting a couple of passes in the first lap or so. That's probably what we'll see in the first few laps, but you never know. It's Monza turn 1.
Yeah, it's always hectic. We saw it in the Academy race as well. It's always a very, very narrow first corner and heartbreaking. So drivers tend to make small mistakes, and those most of the times end up in a bit of a crash. But let's hope it goes relatively cleanly, especially at the front of the pack. Strategy-wise, do you think it's going to be a 2-stop or 1-stop, 43 laps?
I think it'll be an easy 1-stop with the tyre selection. Most drivers will probably be going for the 1-stop, unless of course they get into difficulties, or if they're brave enough to try an alternative strategy on an easy 1-stop. But we shall see.
Yeah, we'll see. So probably the other stuff as the drivers start with that, at least the top 10. And then switching to the mediums after, like, I guess 15 laps or something.
I heard whisperings of people saying that they could do the entire race on the medium compound, so
yeah, let's see. Some people starting at the back might be able to start on the medium tires and go very long and maybe do a last 5-lap stint on ultras or something. I don't know. Let's see what the drivers will be doing. Warm-up is almost coming to a close. We're just waiting for the race director to get ready and switch the sessions to the race. Now in warm-up, we're seeing Ivan Leonov being the quickest on track. Obviously, always not really representative of the actual pace, because we don't really know how quickly the drivers are driving their cars. There's too much variables really to judge, but still something nice for Ivan Leonov to be quickest here in the warm-up. A few penalties that are here today. I think Cameron Roger will be starting from the back of the grid. And I'm not sure if there are a few other. I think Keane White has a penalty. Maybe not actually, so let's have a quick look. In the meantime,
a couple of practice starts going on.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting prepared for the hopefully lack of carnage, but
as I think the race sessions are being switched now. Indeed. So now it's just a short wait for the drivers to get on their grid slots. and then get this party started.
Hopefully we'll be seeing some smiley faces after turn 1, not some fearful ones.
Yeah, let's hope so. So a few penalties that were given out. 16 place grid penalty for Bojan Bogdanov. 4 place penalty for Marek Godek. And 15-second time penalty for Luke Maguire. But that was last race. So now let's get this grid started. Alistair, could you please take us through the grid, please?
In P1, we've got Mark Hutchinson, of course, gaining 2 places due to grid demotions, so good news for him. In second, we've got Luca D'Amelio, the Italian driver, driving for Go Speed, a lot of top speed. We'll see how that goes, but he's got 2 rather keen ISIMRS drivers behind him. He's got Kian White in P3 and Thomas Fuck in 4. And then proverbial bread Go Speed sandwich, we've got Tom Savely behind those 2. Of course, he'll be hoping to gain a lot of places in the first few laps. And we've got Kostas Kalamanatis, the Oromia driver, behind him. 6, Mateusz Coleman, P7 for Go Speed. Ivan Leonov for Netrex. 8, Tom Oldomenga for the DSoff Racing team with in P9, and Luke Maguire, P10 for Luke Maguire is TTS off? No? Yeah, TTS.
Yeah.
Victor Ivanov for Netrex Grand Prix. Christian Lazaro for Invictus Grand Prix in 12. Philip Kraus is in the pit lane still in 13, so he's probably opting for a pit lane start, perhaps a wise decision. Roma Singer in P14. Arif Roslan for the Invictus Grand Prix team in P15. And Cameron Roger, the last of the starters, rolling flag to flag team in P. David Yunt appears to be in the pit lane as well.
Yeah. So Cameron just rolling his car to his grid slot. Clutch pulled in, trying to save as much fuel as possible so that he can use as much as he wants during this race. As he slots in, we will be waiting for the lights to come on. And there they are. We've got 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. And we are racing. It is a decent start for Mark Hutchinson. Already pulling away from Luca D'Amelio next to him. Luca D'Amelio, really bad start for him as another ISIMRS driver dives up the inside there. Rest of the pack seems to get through pretty cleanly. No big incidents as everybody comes out of the first chicane.
Tom Savely took a lot of risk there with teammate. Easing out to Kostas Kalamanatis off the line.
Victor's there getting past the Netrex driver, another Netrex driver opting to take the long route around in the second chicane. Kian White very close to Mark Hutchinson as they come out of the second Lesmo.
Had a bit of contact between Vroma Singer and Cameron Roger through the second Lesmo, I think. But no harm done by the looks of things.
Tom Sadlerly and Kostas Kalamatis battling a little bit there. Coming through Ascari.
I think Savely's got the superior straight line. There's another Go Speed going through as well. Mateusz Coleman into the Parabolica. A little bit of wheel banging. Galamanatis has got the shorter line, but can he hold on to turn 1? I don't think he's got the top speed for this, to be honest with you.
Brakes are going to be important. He has still got a little bit of his car inside there. Trying to go the long route around. Not going to be easy, but seems to have been able to do so pretty well. Yeah, a bit of wheel banging. I'm sure Coleman won't be very happy with it, but he has the top speed. We know that. Let's see. We'll have the inside line as well coming into the second chicane. And also TCS off driver coming in there. Ooh, big contact there. Under braking. And somehow Coleman has gotten away with that. But Kostas Galamatis spun around. Also still has his front wing. So I guess it could be worse for him. But still not the best.
Coleman's steering appears to be relatively straight after that. In fact, it looks pretty much completely straight, which I'm actually amazed by. For all that wheel banging.
Bit of luck for him then. Luke Maguire starting to put some pressure on Christian Lazaro. DRS will open next lap. So they still have to do without on this time around.
Mark Hutchinson, meanwhile, has got a rear gunner in the form of Kian White in front of Luca D'Amelio, which should be important for them for the rest of the race. They both need to be in the mix to try and hold off the massive straight line speed of the Ghost speed.
Here we go, side by side. TCS off Luke Maguire next to Christian Lazaro. Inside line for Luke. Oh, they lock wheels a little bit there, which won't help them. Also lose a bit of time compared to even Leonov right behind them, who will have a lot of top speed.
Of Vark to the second chicane. He's got the move done.
Nicely done there.
That's the clean way to overtake. That's how it's supposed to be done.
Now the Ghost Speeds are starting to hunt down the ISIMRS of Kian White and Mark Hutchinson. Kian White acting as a bit of a buffer between him and the ISIMRS of Mark Hutchinson. Now look at Emilio, is looking real close. Let's see what he's able to do on this straight. We know they have a lot of top speed, but the DRS of Kian is strong enough to keep him, at least for this lap, away.
Cameron Roger has been making some places. He's in 11th place behind Ivan Leonov. Got a bit of a gap between himself and Roma Tsinga and Leonov ahead.
Yeah, a good start of the race for him so far. It's been long overdue for him to get a good race. So far has only been able to finish a single one, and that was in P17, so let's see if we can get a bit more luck this time around.
Well, let's not count our chickens before the day's up. Statistically, it's unlikely for him to finish this race, unfortunately.
Look at Amelia, really close coming into the Parabolica. He doesn't have the downforce though to keep real close coming out of it.
Singer in the wall. Singer's out.
Ooh, that's unfortunate for him. As the DRS is open there for Kian White and Luca D'Amelio. Luca D'Amelio has got a lot of overspeed coming into the inside. No, decides to back out of it there. Perhaps a smart choice. I think Hutchinson is also trying to keep close enough to Kian White to give him a bit of slipstream, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. A lot of speed here from the Ghost Speed driver to the outside. Luca D'Amelio goes late braking. Is it going to be enough? Side by side. This is not a very good place to go side by side by. Ooh, they almost spin Luca D'Amelio. Ooh, a bit of contact there with the wall. I don't know if he still has his front wing. No, he doesn't. Luca D'Amelio without the front wing has to do the lap of shame now all the way back to the pit lane. This is going to lose him a lot of time.
He's got to stay out of trouble now. Well, he could probably get to the end on the mediums, so it's possible that he can salvage something from this race. Not entirely over for D'Amelio, but it's definitely not what he would have wanted. Oh dear, he's going off across the gravel.
Oof, Cameron Roger almost hitting him there. This put the pressure off Keane White and Mark Hutchinson for at least a while. Tom Sadlerley is closing in still, pretty rapidly as well. Obviously, Keane White lost a bit of time with that incident as well.
Emilio is safe into the pits now. Phil Krause is managing to get right up to the back of the train now after his pit lane start. So he's got a nice sparkling car with no incidents under its belt. So see how he does for the rest of the race. He started on the medium compound actually.
Cameron Roger in the top 10 right now, getting close to Ivan Leonov, who in turn is also getting close to Christian Lazaro in front of him. No DRS for the Invictus driver. Let's see for how long he can fend off these flag-to-flag and Netrex drivers.
Ian White's out of the DRS for Hutchinson now, and he's got Savalli behind him. I think this may be a done deal if the top speed differences are as we suspect. Maybe not this lap, but maybe in the next few. Got two Go Speed cars hunting him down. Luca Emilio did change to the medium compound tyre, so he will be looking to get to the end of the race.
Yeah, 37 laps on those medium tires. I guess it's possible. We'll need to watch out for them at least slightly then, I guess. So let's see how far he will get. Now, sadly, he's really closing in, coming into Ascari now. This is where he will lose a bit because of the dirty air. But it's not too bad, actually. Now closing in further and further to Keane White. I think this is going to be the lap where Keane is going to have to consolidate. Sadly, gets a good exit out of Parabolica as well. A bit of a double upshift there. Going up to 8th prematurely, but it's not going to hurt him too much. Coming to the inside, into turn 1. Easy move there for Tom Sadlerley. Nothing much Keane White can do with his top speed. Perhaps ISIMRS being a bit too conservative there with their wings and their top speed. As Tom Sadlerley will now start to hunt down Mark Hutchinson.
Keane White's not heard the end of it though, he wants it back. When he's in the DRS, I'm sure he'll want to hold on to Tom Sadlerley. Lack of top speed will make him vulnerable to cars behind him, so he's got to stay in that DRS.
Not going to be easy for him though. Already 6/10 lost just in that first couple of corners of this lap. The sector 2 is of course the place where Keane White should be stronger with his higher wings.
I think he's going to really struggle to stay in the DRS here. Going to make him really vulnerable to Coleman. I think ISIMRS have made a bit of a mistake here with their wings.
Ooh, I think that was a lag spike there from Tom Sadlerley, lagging back about half a second. This will help Keane a bit, I guess. Lucky for them that he didn't lag back a few meters further back, because I think he would have ended up right in the front wing of Keane White.
I think we might have seen some antics there if that had. Have a look at Hutchinson's lap times. Best lap at 22.5, last lap at 23.2. Savali's last lap was a 22.9, so best part of third of a second gained by Savali on the last lap. Hutchinson's really got to put the hammer down now if he wants to stay ahead of Savali for the rest of this stint. Oh, Christian Lazaro right on the back of Luke Maguire.
Let's have a look. Coming into turn 1 with the DRS, high top speed there for the Invictus. He is
Hopping
on
across the front.
he is on the harder compound there, the soft instead of the ultra soft. Interesting that he's able to. Now there is a few laps done on those tires. It seems that the softs are getting a bit better compared to the ultra softs.
Might make a significant part of his time through this part of the stint. And if he can carry those softs further than the ultra soft runners, then his medium stint's going to be a lot less painful. Be able to really push those tyres at the end of the medium stint compared with the drivers around him.
Yeah, Leonov now also getting past, almost getting past Luke Maguire up the inside. No, he's decided not
A
to
brave
do
move
so.
into Ascari if you're going to do that one.
Luke going off very wide there. Even off to the grass for a little bit. Now Parabolica going to be important for both of the drivers. Leonov has a good run. Luke Maguire is struggling on the rear, and I think he's coming into the pit lane. Yes, he is. So an early stop there for Maguire. I don't think he
Kian
is...
White's in as well.
Okay.
Kian's White.
And both the ghost speeds as well. Ooh. I think... who was it? Sadly, no, the other ghost speed. Coleman missed his pit box for a little bit there.
Hutchinson's still going. So he's got to really put the hammer down for this lap. Make sure that he's not going to get undercut here. I wonder how much he's got left in those ultra softs. Could find himself in a fight with Tom Savali on exiting the pit lane. Or even worse, he could find that Savali might even be in front of him.
Yeah, indeed. His first sector was not very quick compared to Oldenmenger, even 4/10 slower. Second sector also not the best, so this is gonna be very difficult for Hutchinson. He did have a bit of a margin, of course, but if he
He had
loses
around
too
2
much
seconds
time,
at the time of the
yeah.
stop. So
He stays out for another lap, so his engineers, I guess, calculating that he has enough room to play with at the moment. But he has to play it safe, because I think once the ghost speeds get in that DRS range, it will really start to get difficult for him to keep them behind with his top speed.
those Savali sector times are looking quite nice for him to be in this undercut into. Yeah, he's done a purple last sector. The Amelio might be coming into play here. Great deal behind Galamamata, so he's going to come out probably in the midst of this midfield battle with Leonov, Lazaro and Bark and co. Hutchinson in. He's in his box. He's going to go onto the medium tyre. Let's see. where Savali is going to come out in relation. Savali coming through parabolic and out. And just about to leave the pit lane now. He's released a limiter.
Still in front.
He's going to come out in front.
Yeah, with a bit of margin, but I think Sadly is within the DRS range now. So Hutchinson is going to have to watch out.
Well, they've got traffic ahead and there's going to be no blue flags because these lot are still on the medium tyres. They're not going to be pitting until much later in the race, so they've got to pass them on merit. Of course, they're going to have faster cars, but who's going to be aggressive through the traffic? I think that's probably what Hutchinson's engineer was hoping for, that maybe they could get a big enough gap to make sure they're not going to end up in this lot, but it doesn't seem to be the case. They've got Junt, Kraus, Roslan, and maybe Lazaro, but probably not. He's on a soft compound tyre. Probably be well out of the way by that point.
Yes, indeed. Kraus might be able to make a move on RF Roslan in the meantime as well. Starting to close in slightly.
They had a bit of contact earlier on in the race. Roslan took a bit of an escape through the gravel of Gari. Kraus ended up running into him. Holdemanger's coming out on the pits on a set of soft compound tyres. Vision.
Right in front of Thomas Wack there. Wack will have a bit less top speed compared to the TCS off driver. So also with the mediums compared to the softs, will be difficult for him to stay close. At least that's what you would expect. But
Hutchinson's got to get past Junt here. This straight.
he does so pretty well. Junt not really defending. He knows this is not his race to fight, not his battle. So he decides to not make much of a point about it. We saw in the academy race earlier today that there were a few drivers in exactly the same position that did defend hard. And that hurt the drivers, at least some of the drivers, getting through quite a lot. Now Sadly will get past as well coming into turn 1.
Ooh, that's a lunge. I think Savali is being a little bit more aggressive through the traffic here.
Gained a slight bit of time as well. Now within a second, so he will have the DRS from Mark Hutchinson now.
Exactly what Hutchinson would not want. Just seeing in the chat from Jan Woznica that Cameron Roger unfortunately has DNF yet again.
Oh boy.
Not what we wanted.
We've got to get a replay of that, obviously. So let's take a quick look at what happened to Cameron Roger there. Let's go on board. Coming to... okay. I guess he decided to forget how to steer. Let's have another look. Oh, he had big damage on his suspension already. So something must have happened before that.
Oh dear.
And crashed in the middle of the track. So, unfortunate for him. But, yeah, I guess wasn't much of a surprise anyway.
The next bit of lapping for Hutchinson and Savali is coming up soon. We've got Kraus and Roslan. Hutchinson might just be able to escape the DRS on this lap, actually, by the looks of it. It's something that he will want very dearly.
The gap increased a little bit through the second sector, obviously, where he's got the higher grip. Through Parabolic, I think he's able to get just enough, but maybe not. Let's have a look at Sadly. DRS flicks open there.
Lazaro is pitted, so that's one more out of the way. Taking the alternate strategy with the softs at the start. Getting some nice fresh mediums to fight those around him now. My eyes don't mistake me, I think Savali's about as close as he's ever been.
Yes, indeed. Closing in further and further. There's still a group of back markers in front of Hutchinson. He might be able to help him out, give him some DRS down the main straight, and be able to defend off Sadly with that.
Depends entirely on where he catches them.
Yeah, exactly. Might not be close enough to them.
I think he's going to suffer yet another straight where he's got a much less top speed than Savali with the DRS. Got to be really aggressive through these two back markers if he's going to hope to make a gap. Savali might have a go now.
Oof, very close, taking a peek, almost having to stop the car to a halt there on the apex.
That was close. He almost balked himself by doing that.
Yeah.
If he'd been a little bit more patient, he might have been able to set it up for the next chicane.
Exactly.
Still in DRS though, so not a great deal of harm done. Now we've got a trio fighting here. Lazaro, Leonov, Maguire. Lazaro's managed to get himself through on these two drivers with his fresher tyres.
Even Leonov still sticking with Luke Maguire. Trying to find a way to get past, but Maguire I think has DRS as well from Lazaro in front still. So difficult for him to get past. Let's see what Sadly is going to do coming into turn 1. It's too far back. And Hutchinson had the DRS from the flag to flag driver in front of him. Philip Kraus and Adolf Rosland both haven't pitted yet. I guess they will do so in the next 10-ish laps. 25 laps to go.
I'll give them a nice light car on the ultra soft tyre towards the end.
Yeah, exactly. They might be gaining some places there.
This is going to be the lap where the traffic's going to really bring this fight into play now. Hutchinson right on the back of Kraus through Scari, and he's having to lift out. He's lost time. I think Hutchinson's really got to make it work on this lap. Oh. They've got Jan and Olbermenger going side by side through Parabolica as well.
There we go, Hutchinson dives up the inside. Sadly has to wait for another lap. Junt losing a position there to Tom Ollenberger on the main straight.
I think Kraus has got higher wings than Savali, so if he stays ahead of him through Curva Grande, then this second sector is probably going to make Savali pay behind Kraus. Could give Hutchinson the opportunity to make a gap. Bad news for Savali as well. Philip Kraus has got the DRS on Mark Hutchinson through that straight down to the Ascari chicane. Hutchinson's going to get away from it here.
Yeah, I think Sadly was even saving some fuel there behind Philip Kraus. It seemed that he lifted a bit before Ascari, perhaps saving that fuel for later. Obviously he's going to need it to catch Mark Hutchinson. Now this should be a straightforward move for him. Kraus still has the DRS as well. It's not going to be really easy. Perhaps a lunge up the inside. We saw him done that before. Got to be close.
Ooh,
Kraus is not Kraus is not giving him the position for free there. Sadly losing a lot of time now compared to Hutchinson.
Not going to be happy about that. I wouldn't be surprised if the next move is a little bit more aggressive than that, to be honest with you. Oh no, Mega's making his way up the pack. Got his way past David Yunt and Thomas Farr.
Sadly close to Kraus again, coming out of Parabolica. Now this time no DRS for Kraus, so this should be an easy move. Let's see. Gets alongside, gets in front as well. Under braking, move done and dusted, but the gap between him and Hutchinson is now almost 2 seconds. So
he's paid dearly for that move on the previous lap.
Exactly. He's really gonna have to push hard to start closing in that gap to Hutchinson now. Hopefully he will be able to do so, at least hopefully for us, to get a little bit of a battle. I guess Mark Hutchinson got different ideas about that.
These two obviously championship rivals this year. Of course in the lead by quite a significant margin. We're hoping to extend it over the next few races. Hutchinson's right behind Roslan now. I think we might see him pass him on this lap. Well, Roslan's going into the pits. That's going to be a welcome sight for Tom Savali. He's not going to have to get past him. He's not going to suffer the dirty air. Now he's just got to put the hammer down and get up to the back of Mark Hutchinson.
Set of soft tires there for Arif Rosland to take him to the end of the race. 21 laps should be doable for him.
Oh. There's Coleman and David Yunt just nearly came together at turn 1.
This battle there for P7 effectively. P6 actually, with Coleman involved as well now. Starting to heat up. Yunt hasn't stopped, but he's been able to to keep Wag behind for quite long, which is rather remarkable. Wag now gets past.
He's let him by.
Yeah. Coleman, I think, went off track there. He actually DNF for Mateusz Coleman. I saw some smoke at the exit of Ascari. Let's have a quick look at the replay. See if I can find out what happened to him. Here we go, coming to Ascari. Turning it in. Too much curb. Yes, too much curb. Spins the car around. Couldn't save it. And hard into the barriers. Lost his rear wing. End of the race for Coleman. Which is a shame. He was doing rather well. Appreciably his qualifying was quite good as well. So he's going to have to try another time at the next race.
Heavily bringing the gap down to nearly a second now. Got DRS actually. Help him hang on to the back of Mark Hutchinson. Stay on the back of him down this straight, then might see some fireworks into turn 1 this lap. Considering Mark Hutchinson's got what, like a 2-lap overcut, I think. Have the fresher tyres, so he's definitely going to have to make sure that he looks after his tyres at the end of this race. In comparison to Hutchinson anyway. It's not that wear is going to be an issue for getting to the end, but might be an issue for the pace differential between these two drivers.
Now, where is Satherley going to make that move? He's within almost half a second now. Hutchinson's got to start thinking about how am I going to keep him behind me, because I think it's gonna be pretty difficult. Top speed difference on their own is roughly 7 kilometers an hour, I guess, with the DRS and the slipstream. Well, Sadly has almost got 15 kilometers an hour quicker on the straight. Let's see what he can do. Through Ascari, runs a bit wide. Has to be careful with that. If you do that too often, you can get a penalty post-race. Into Parabolica. This is the very important part for both of these drivers. Satherley, of course, wanting to overtake, and Hutchinson wanting to defend. We've seen Satherley further array than this and trying to do something. Now he's gonna go to the outside, coming into turn 1.
He's gonna make a move.
I think it's gonna be enough already. Leaves a bit of space there for Hutchinson to turn in. Hutchinson trying
for a better
to make,
exit.
yeah, trying to make the switch back. Now Hutchinson not really taking the slipstream there of Satherley, which is interesting. But obviously this is the part where Hutchinson's car is better. So if you can get close enough here and through Parabolica later on, might be able to get back the position, but it's not going to be easy with the top speed of Satherley. Hutchinson's just got to keep close to him now and try to force him into making a mistake, perhaps.
I think Hutchinson's going to really struggle to hang on here. He's had a bad exit out of Ascari. Satherley is quite some margin away now. I think he's out of DRS now. Look down the straight if Hutchinson's got DRS. He hasn't. Low for the chances of victory today if he doesn't manage to make up a lot of time in sector 2 here.
Yeah, 17 laps to go. What could be a issue for Satherley with the lower wings will have a bit more tire wear compared to Hutchinson. So perhaps in the late stages of this race. The last few laps, Hutchinson might be able to close in a bit more. But that's still going to be very difficult for him. Philip Kraus, by the way, still hasn't stopped. 17 laps to go. I guess he would be coming in shortly.
Wondering where he's due to come out, actually. Probably last.
I guess before Junt, we just stopped. So we'll be
True.
in front of Junt still, but indeed probably behind Aref Roslan. Almost for sure, as he comes into the pit lane now. Let's see. Probably would be going to the soft tire, just like Junt did, but he could have a gamble and go to the ultra softs. Let's see what he does. Goes for the softs, so takes the safe bet.
Gresham could be the better part of Valor here.
So indeed we'll be coming out in front of David Junt.
And marginally faster on the last lap than Satherley. 1/10 of a second. So he might just hang in there.
Yeah, still within that DRS range, which is important for him, obviously.
The important thing is that he's got to stay in this DRS zone coming after the Parabolica. One down to the Sky Chicane's keeping him in play, but if he can get the one after the Parabolica, entirely possible that he could close the gap up. He doesn't get DRS on this lap. Tom Oldenegger is on the soft tyre, and he's catching up to the back of Kean White. Williams.
Yeah, Kean, obviously on those older medium tyres, Oldenmenger with those softs. How long he's been on those? 15 laps, so I guess he's gonna have to do another stop at least. Or somehow do another 15 laps on these, but I wouldn't see that happening. 30 laps on the soft tire.
Roslan DNF.
Let's see what happened. Probably went off track somewhere. Have a quick look at the replay. If it wants to work, here we go. On board with Roslan. Everything seems okay. Exit of the second chicane. Oei! And hit the barrier there. Too much wheel spin. Have a look again on the outside. A lot of wheel spin. Hits the curb a little bit and just snaps around. Hits the barrier. End of the race for him.
The Hutchinson-Satherley gap is extended now. Hutchinson now nowhere near the DRS. 1.9 seconds on the last split.
Yeah, really starting to lose that time now. The victory is really slowly getting out of hand now for Hutchinson. Gotta hope for something to happen to the car of Tom Sadley, or Tom Sadley making a mistake of some sorts. We saw another Ghost Speed driver, if I'm not mistaken, DNF in the Academy race because of engine temperature problems. I'm sure they will have fixed it here for the Pro race. But you never know. Anything can happen with these cars. If you push them too hard, they will give up on you.
Sometimes we do get the odd rogue driver making little changes, paying the price as well.
Looking at the lap times, Hutchinson's last lap was a 1:24.0, which is, well, I guess not a great lap. Wait, sorry, that's the wrong lap. Actually, 22.8.
I believe it was half a second quicker.
Yeah, half a second slower than Sadly. So Hutchinson really struggling hard now to gap up to almost 2 seconds. Actually 3 seconds. So really getting out of hand now for Mark Hutchinson.
Fortunately, we've not got a great deal of runners left at this moment in time, really. Closest on track battle is currently Oldenmenger and White.
Yeah, indeed. Tom's still closing in, but again, he is on those soft tires and he will have to stop again. So I'm wondering why he doesn't do that now or sooner, because it's 12 laps to go now, including this one, so 11 laps on the Ultrasoft. You would say that that's pretty doable, especially with a lighter car. We've seen most people do 10 to 11 laps in the first stint, and that's obviously with about 100 liters more fuel. A little bit less, of course, but you get the idea. And let's see what Oldenmenger is going to do. A lot of curb, by the way, there in Ascari. Most drivers tend to stay off the right-hand side inside curb of Ascari, but Oldenmenger pretty much takes his full right tire onto it. Doesn't really seem to struggle with it. Interesting setup choice.
Parabolica. Perhaps he's gone for a front end that will happily hop over the chicanes, but not too pleased with being forced into a long right-hander.
Yeah, exactly. It's closing in now, coming into the second chicane. Might go for a lunge. No. He's very patient. He's well to do so, obviously. Want to get to the finish line.
Christian Lazaro is slowly. I was about to say he's catching on the back of the car, but he's not.
His last laps were 22.7, 22.5. Bach has been doing 22.4, 22.6. So
Bach just did his PB.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh, Oldenmenger is going to make the move on White on the inside. Oof. Decides not to go for the gap that was there, but he was thinking about it. Now he's lost a bit of time again through the Lesmos.
I think Kian White was probably thinking about it as well.
Yeah. Ooh, Keen White going onto the grass, coming up to Ascari. Bit of a lapse of concentration there. Allows Tom to close in a bit further. And I think if he gets a good run through Parabolica, might be able to make the move.
He's not moved over all the way to the left on the entry to the Parabolica. To lose himself quite a bit of apex speed by him just not taking the full amount of track space.
Yeah, interesting. Now he's closing in with the DRS, with the slipstream. It's not going to be enough. But perhaps again coming into the second chicane, if he gets a good run out of this corner.
Meanwhile, Thomas Vark slowly coming into the picture actually. Almost half a second on the last lap to Alderman. The resurgence of the midfield battle. Meanwhile, Savali's just set another personal best out in the front. 22.1 to Hutchinson's PB of 22.5. So they're both fighting for it. Just in proxy, a bit further away than perhaps would like to be.
Oldermenger still not stopping, I think. He might be going to the end on these, which is rather remarkable. 22
What
laps
tires did he
now.
start on?
He started on the Ultras. So he's done 22 laps on these now, and he's still got to go a few. Still 8 laps to go. So he would have done 30 laps on those soft tires. Which is interesting, but I guess if he can pull it off, why not?
I'm sure he was hoping to get a gap.
Yeah.
Still on the back of Kian White. Kian White's last lap was actually a personal best by the looks of things. Oldermenger was faster, marginally. Oh, Luke Maguire's just gone into the wall. Behind David
Oi.
Yunt. He was trying to make a move, actually.
Let's have a look at the replay then. There we go. Luke Maguire. David Junt. Yeah. It's just... oof, that's a pretty hard hit actually. He was just pushing a little bit too hard behind David. And spun the rear tires too much. A bit like how out of Rosland DNF'd. But Luke Maguire managed to keep the car pointed in the right direction. His steering wheel is slightly bent, which is not helping him obviously.
Vark is right back on the back of Oldermenger now. I think Oldermenger's made a mistake. I think we might see those tyres are finally going to catch up with him. We're really going to lose a flurry of positions here. Got Vark behind him, and behind Vark is Lazaro, not too far. If he's going to be making another stop, he surely should have made it laps ago.
Yeah, if he does it now, he will lose about, well, pretty much down to P9, I think. Maybe even further. Maybe behind Junt? Nah, Junt is too far, but Definitely behind Phil Kraus, I think.
Gone from hunter to hunted. A lap. (24.2) from Ordemenger last lap. Losing almost 1.5 seconds to Thomas Vark. I think we could see a move on this lap from Bart. Opened his DRS. I know Ordemenger. He's patient enough to try not to go for the move into the Ascari chicane.
Now walk. You know, the SimRS driver or cars don't have a lot of top speed, but surely this must be enough to get past the car in front of him with the DRS and the slipstream.
Bit of weaving on the straight.
No, I think it's going to be difficult for Walk. If he gets a good exit out of here, might be able to do it coming into the second chicane.
Well, if Ordemenger managed to hold him up for long enough, this could bring Lazaro into play. I think the Hutchinson-Savelli gap is beginning to shrink a little bit now.
Yeah, perhaps the tires of Satherley's starting to go off a bit sooner than Hutchinson's. Last lap was almost 3/10 slower. But he's only got 4 laps. And
Vark and Ordemenger side by side, down the back straight, towards Ascari. Vark, of course, being a little bit more patient, not being silly with his car. He doesn't want to throw away a whole host of points and positions just by trying to overtake somebody who's on far more worn tyres.
Thomas Wark's best finishing position so far has been P4 in Silverstone. So I guess he would like to get another P4. But he's gonna have to work for it. 4 laps to go, including this one.
Hutchinson PB last lap.
Yeah, 6/10 quicker even than Satherley. So great effort there from Hutchinson so far. And again, a very good first sector by him as well. I think Walk is gonna try it before Ascari again. No, it's a bit too far back.
Uses a bit under braking there. Coming a very confident into the Ascari chicane. He's lost a bit on the exit there. Perhaps a little bit too much confidence. Oh, Vark's got a much better exit out of the parabolica here. Ordemenger really struggling now. But that straight line speed of the ICMRS is just not helping. Whether he can get the move done into the first chicane. No, he can't. Oh, there's contact. Oh, this is going to be nasty.
They're still side by side. They're still going. So ended up not too extreme of an accident for them, but still probably a little bit of damage for both their cars there.
Imagine Christian Lazaro in the background now, is egging them on. Come on, guys.
Yeah, he's just waiting for an accident to happen, of course. 3 laps to go.
I think if Lazaro's got better top speed than Vark, then I don't think it's going to be question that will have a go at Oldenminger and Vark.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Hutchinson is now almost into the DRS of Tom Savelli. Almost another personal best there, only 0.003 of a second off. Very consistent and fast times there.
Again, the top speed proving to be an issue for Thomas Vaak. 2 laps to go. And the gap at the front has come down.
Mark Hutchinson is now in DRS.
Exactly. It's come down enough for Mark Hutchinson to get into the DRS, but is it going to be enough with his top speed to try and get past Sadly at some point in the racetrack? It's not going to be easy with only 1 lap to go for them.
Well, Savelli's car is squirming all over the place, so this is going to be a difficult fight for both of them.
So coming out of Parabolica for second to last time. Opening up the DRS. And closing in ever so slowly on the straights. Braking hard, this is the important bit for Hutchinson. Get a good exit with the perhaps slightly thrashed tires. Oof. Both of them having a lot of wheel spin there. I guess also both of them having saved a bit of engine boost. Try and use that on this last lap.
Hutchinson's teammates in the chat offering a lot of encouragement. Mark, obviously, more elderly driver. They're all offering a bit of humorous encouragement.
Here we go, out of the Lesmo. I think it's going to be too difficult. I think he's too far DRS open unless something happens in Ascari. I think Tom Sadly has it. Hutchinson closing in.
Got a much better run through Ascari though.
Yes, it's gonna be about that last Parabolica. It's gonna be maybe a photo finish here. 43 laps of racing. How is it going to end? Sadly has done a very, very nice race so far, but is it gonna be enough for him
Hutchinson had to get
keep
out of the
Hutchinson
throttle
behind? Closing in.
Ooh,
Hutchinson
lag.
spins out, loses his front wing, manages to get across the finish line safely, but sadly taking the win here in Monza, the Italian Grand Prix of the Pro Championship. It's going to be photo finish for Tom Oldenminger and Thomas Vaak. Who's going to get it? I think it is Oldenminger, only just though in front of Thomas Vaak. 2,000s ahead of him. And Christian Lazaro finishing in 6th. Keen White in 3rd, by the way. Good podium position from him. And then Ivan Leonov in 7th. Luca D'Amelio in 8th after his accident earlier on in the race. Philip Kraus in 9th. And the last driver to finish today is going to be David Junt as he comes through Ascari. And we wait for him to come to the finish line.
I think after that we shall have a replay of that physics issue from Tom Savelli and Mark Hutchinson.
Yeah, let's see if I can find it. Probably not going to be too easy. Here we go. Let's have a look at that replay indeed of what happened there in at the finish line. If we can get it. Maybe not. Maybe we do. rFactor not always being the nicest of games. But here we go. On board with Hutchinson. Ooh, indeed, a lag spike there for Hutchinson. Oof. That is, well, I think Mark needs a new pair of pants there. Manages to get across the finish line safely, but that was very, very close indeed for him.
Well, he gave it his best shot. I think perhaps he waited a little bit too long to start using that pace.
Yeah, indeed. Perhaps. But Satterley is the big winner of the day. Pulling his car into the pit box. And he will be gaining 7 points onto the lead of Mark Hutchinson, which right now is 33 points. So it will be coming down a little bit. Very important for Satterley, obviously. With 4 races to go after this. Singapore being the next one. As Satterley does some victory donuts there. Great race by him and hitting the pit box there. So not perfect yet. We can practice on that a bit further. If he wins more races, then I guess he will deserve to do a better donut. Anyway. Yeah, great race. Good to see the battle between Hutchinson and Satterley at the end of the race heating up again. And also between Thomas Wack and Tom Ondermenger being so close across the line. Anyway, I think for us it is starting to get time to close it off. Next race in Singapore will be the 6th of October. But we're not today yet. We're not over yet today, obviously. We're not done yet. We've still got the World Championship coming up in roughly 1.5 hours. It will be 18:30 GMT. So make sure you tune in for that as well. That's obviously the main event to watch. Will Jurne Simoncic be able to win once again after his, rather dominant streak so far in the World Championship? If you want to find out, tune in roughly 1.5 hours time. For now, we've been Felix van Delft and Alistair Long. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Alistair, for joining me in the commentary booth.
Thank you, Felix.
Alright, then I guess we will see you guys in just a bit for the World Championship. Until then, take care.
Bye.
Hey man, I got that new TMX Thrustmaster wheel. It's going down.
Xbox One?
I can't wait to play when I get home.
Yo, let me play.
Yeah, after I play first. Yeah.
You know, I'll race it for it.
So I have a hand.